If you use Excel to do your calculations for this lab, it sets up the same way as the conservation momentum lab for elastic collisions. I copied the tables out of the lab write-up and pasted them right into Excel so that once I had my data, I could copy them into the appropriate cells and the calculation results would appear. The big difference is the prediction column. It will not be the same formula as before because when it comes to inelastic collisions, you only have one final unknown, the final momentum of the combined bodies, which means you need to find the final velocity of the pair. This will come from setting up the inelastic collision for two objects. Once you have found an expression for the final velocity, the final momentum for each of the objects is just its mass multiplied by the final velocity. In other words, take the mass of m1 and multiply it by the final velocity, and take the mass of m2 and multiply it by the final velocity. This will give you the equation that you will need to put into the predicted final momentum column for each object. After that, the calculations to be completed on the right are the same formulas used in the previous lab. For the two-dimensional case, you will also do the same as in the two-dimensional elastic collision by copying the tables from the Word document directly into Excel. All the calculations will be the same as well, so you could use your Excel spreadsheet for elastic collisions and copy all of those cells into this one. Once you copy the data from your Word document data tables into the appropriate cells here, the calculations should be completed for you. What you will submit for grading. Your completed Word document should include your completed data tables and the questions answered. After that, you should have calculations pages that would include data from Part 1 with percent error calculations between the predicted and observed final momenta, the total momentum before and after the collisions, the total kinetic energy values before and after collisions, and the percent difference values for comparing the total initial and final momentum and the total initial and final kinetic energy. If you use Excel, then copy the appropriate calculation cells. You can make these clearer by using the grid drop-down menu found in the font section to put lines around each cell. For the second part, the same required calculations can follow this first one. There should be example calculations using relevant equations and your data to demonstrate your knowledge of using these equations, and the proof leading to the final velocity expression for the one-dimensional inelastic collision should also be found on your calculations page.